What do you want to talk about?
Whatever we want. I've got topics for days. I'm so weird. Call it Topicana.
Fresh squeezed.
Hey.
Hey there.
So enthusiastic.
Hey, how you doing?
Amy's
Doing all right?
preoccupied on whether or not to go to the drive-in movies tonight.
These two so-called friends of mine
Had the balls to invite her out.
had the balls to invite me to do something that I was not planning on mere hours before it is supposed to start.
No, because Freddy yesterday asked, "Hey, remember
Yeah.
to see Beetlejuice?"
I know.
And we kind of got the ball rolling, and then I said, "Oh, the weather's really nice tonight
Weather
for
is
Yeah.
summer,
nice.
Man,
for
everything
a-
lined up.
for the dog days of summer."
Yes. And we haven't been to
And-
the drive-in all year. I don't even think did we go last year, Andy? Do you remember?
don't
I
think
went last year.
I know you,
guys
did.
didn't.
I don't think
I
we
don't
did.
think so. All right, let me think about it. God.
So we're
Mhm.
putting her on the spot in front of the audience that hasn't been broadcasted to yet.
Yes.
That's right. We'll let you know next time how
Yeah,
it
next
worked
show.
out.
How it worked out.
Well, as time travelers, they're like listening right now, and they say she didn't go or she did go.
Well, this is going out to our patrons today. And then in 1 week, our non-patrons will have access to it on the main feed. So you'll have to wait a week, but you don't even know you're waiting a week. So by the time you figure it out, you might already know if you listen to the main feed.
Wow.
I
That's a
know,
lot to
right?
think about, Amy.
Phew! This is some Star Trek. Fucking anyway. So today we're gonna keep kind of rolling on our just random topics kind of thing we've been doing. You into
I
that,
think
boys?
that's it's probably the way we're going to go forward at this
Yeah.
point.
Like, what's going on in our lives? What sort of interesting things have occurred to us or have been happening? I'm gonna start. What was your favorite arcade game as a kid? This is Freddy's question. He actually asked this to me.
This came up because the boys that I have a group text with, all of us middle-aged men, reminiscing about, well, one of them said, I wish there was a great G.I. Joe video game. And I'm like, well, there was the old arcade game. And one of them had never heard of it, which shocked me because they're big G.I. Joe fans.
Yeah.
But that was like a
I've
really
not-
great game.
I've never heard that game either.
It was Konami. It was like a 4-player co-op, kind of like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Oh, is it a side scroller?
It was actually a behind the camera was behind the 4 Joe characters. You had Duke, Roadblock, what's her name? Scarlet, is that right? I think Scarlet, and then I can't remember who the 4th one was.
The fact that you remember
Probably
all
Snake
of
Eyes or
this.
something. Well, I just looked it up because
Oh,
I wanted
okay.
to tell them about
I was gonna
it.
say.
I looked it up and I was like, because I was trying to remember exactly how it worked, but it was like behind you, and all of them were pushing forward, so away from you in the screen and the depth of field, and that's where all the bad guys are coming from, and you just bloop 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 bloop, shot them up, move left to right,
Yeah.
kind of like playing Centipede.
Oh.
It was fun.
Isn't Centipede like you're looking overhead?
Yeah, but it's still that's 2-dimensional. Centipede is. So if you made Centipede 3-dimensional, that would be G.I. Joe.
Oh,
Like
okay.
if you could imagine the Centipede
So, like,
board being
you're-
3D.
So it's like you're a cameraman.
Yep, you're directly behind them.
Okay.
It's fun, worth looking up if you're into arcade games. There's a few different YouTube videos that kind of either playthroughs or histories of it.
I hope the cameraman got a gun too.
Yeah.
So, what's your fave then?
My absolute favorite was I probably pumped more quarters into the Ninja Gaiden game that had the button in the handle that let you grab things in the game. I might not even be remembering this right. But I played a whole shit ton of that at Doc Holliday's, and then also the sit-down Star Wars arcade game where you go to the Death Star and blow it up.
Is that where you're sitting in a cube?
Yeah, and it has those vector graphics.
Yeah, it was very, very primitive.
Yes, but it felt
Mm.
awesome because it even, I think if I remember right, had a little digitized voice that said like, use the false.
Yeah, it was very like lines and grids, but it moved fast.
It did.
It felt exciting.
It was way more exciting than games that had like full blown graphics.
Yeah.
Even though it was just vector graphics, was like Andy was saying, is like an outline of everything in bright white light.
I don't remember
So
that at all.
Did Doc Holidays have quarters or tokens?
I think it was quarters. Yeah, it was definitely quarters because I knew a
Okay.
kid who tried the drilling a hole through it thing.
What?
Oh, to tie a string to
Where you
it.
put fishing line or floss or whatever,
Yeah.
and you can drop
Oh,
your
I've
quarter in
never-
and pull it back out. I can't remember
That
if it worked.
seems- It doesn't.
People will think of fucking anything.
Let's try it. Let's try it now.
Yeah,
The ingenuity of that, as opposed to like, I don't know.
a quarter was a lot of money back in
guess you're right.
1989, 88.
Especially to a kid.
Yeah,
Do you ever think that Aldi needs to change the prices on their carts?
they need to up them.
You need, because right now, if anybody has an Aldi near them, it's a grocery store. I don't know what else to say. I think it's German, but we have them here.
Definitely German.
And you put a quarter in, and it unlocks the cart so you can use it. And then when you're done and you put it back where it belongs, you get your quarter back. And that's supposed to keep everybody honest. Put your shit back away because you want to get your quarter back.
Their
But like
concept is it lowers costs because they don't have to pay.
somebody to get the carts. And it works
Yeah.
for a quarter. But I have never gotten my quarter back. I always just give my cart to somebody going in and say, here you go.
I always give someone a quarter when that happens.
Yeah.
Like I always have a quarter ready.
Yeah.
If someone gives
I
me
don't
their
want your
cart,
quarter.
I give them the quarter I was going to put.
I
in
was
there.
trying to do a nice thing. Don't take that
Yeah.
away from me.
Oh no, but if people take it from you, that's fine. But what I'm saying
This is her thing.
This
Freddy.
is my
Yeah.
karma, motherfucker.
one quarter at a time, getting to heaven.
Wow, you
Yeah.
guys are Rockefeller just throwing quarters around.
I know.
You know,
I mean,
I'm just, I can do that.
I want my quarter,
Quarter.
so I
Did you know
return
that
my cart.
they sell quarter keychains that you just attach to your keys, and you just shove the keychain in,
To unlock
basically. Yeah, and then you pull it out and you get your keychain back.
people will think of anything.
Really?
Yeah,
That's fucking weird. It's just for Aldi carts, basically.
basically. I think it like started in like Europe, obviously, because
Yeah.
they have more Aldis. But then, as more Aldis spread to the United States, like talking like a disease or something, as
The
they,
Aldi is spreading.
as they spread across the United States, like it got like more popular.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So we got to Aldi through quarters, which we got to through video
Oh.
games.
Andy.
Well, it's funny because my parents owned a restaurant in a mall. and
Hilarious.
There was an arcade there,
Yeah.
and I basically grew up there. So I didn't really have a favorite because I was there so often. I would just rotate games.
They were all your babies.
That was a good arcade up there.
Yeah, and they were a token arcade. So kind of wish we still had some of those tokens. Aladdin's. Those
Aladdin's.
are called. I'm sure like there might be one token floating around our house somewhere, but
That'd be
be
crazy.
nice as a souvenir. But I remember playing pinball a lot.
Oh yeah.
Any
because they used
particular
to-
machine?
No, because they would rotate them pretty often. Not often, but enough where like like there was not one favorite you would have. So I'm gonna be like, I was a jack of all trades. I liked all the arcade games.
I forgot completely to mention Double Dragon, which I played more
dare
than
you.
any other arcade game. And you reminded me, Andy, because it was in La Rosa's lobby. So when my parents would send me they'd buy garlic bread from La Rosa's. Like they'd cook a meal, but they wouldn't make garlic bread. They loved La Rosa's garlic bread. So I'd walk to La Rosa's over here to get garlic bread, and they'd give me quarters, and I'd play Double Dragon. I'd play the hell out of that game because we ate a lot. We ate like garlic bread once a week. So I'd play it like once a week.
Is that why your breast stank to this day?
Yep, that's exactly it.
Still does.
They had a good, like when you'd get a loaf of garlic bread from them, it was never overdone. It was like just kind of like just fucking
I didn't know you
butter.
could buy it by the loaf.
Oh my God. I don't know if they
I wonder
still
if you
do it
still
or
can.
not, but you'd get a whole big loaf of
This
it.
shit is buttery.
It was just all
It'd
butter
be
and garlic.
terrible for you.
Real good, but
delicious.
Double Dragon's pretty great.
I don't know. Is butter good for you now? I don't know.
Now they
Things
say
change.
real butter's fine, supposedly. And
Like to have
and you don't want to eat
breakfast,
like
lunch, and dinner.
a ton of it. I cook with a lot of butter.
Yeah.
I think most good cooks use butter.
But
Amy, do you have like? Oh, I remember there was one game I used to like a lot. It was used to shoot with a bow and arrow. It was like and there was like a horror game. Do you remember this, Freddy?
And you
Huh.
had
It
a
was like a
bow and
haunted
arrow?
house, and you had a bow and arrow, and you would shoot things like.
Oh, like a very primitive, right?
Yeah.
It wasn't like House of the Dead or anything like that.
No, but that was your basically your joystick, and you would aim and just shoot with the bow and arrow. It was really cool.
I've got to look this up while you guys talk about
I remember it was you would shoot bats, maybe vampires.
That sounds right.
ghosts.
something.
Yeah, it was.
Was it a crossbow or was it a bow and arrow?
It's
I
a
think
crossbow.
It was a
Yeah,
crossbow.
crossbow, not a
Right.
bow and arrow, not like your Katniss or anything like that. It was like a crossbow that that one that you just press the button. And it
Yeah.
shoots.
Yeah.
That's a crossbow.
That's a
yeah.
crossbow. It has a trigger on it, right? I
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
know.
yeah.
I've never seen one.
Was it called Exidy? EXIDY crossbow arcade game,
Maybe.
or it could have just been called Crossbow.
Could be.
You shot in Crossbow. You shot goofy looking
It's very creative.
monsters.
That might be it then.
It's
I
a
just remember there was
light
a-
gun shooter released as an arcade video game by the company that released it. Andy was called Exidy in 1983.
Okay.
Told
I just remember there's a cool crossbow.
Yeah, you had
That was neat.
Yeah. That's pretty nifty.
like it's hard as this is all kind of blurry.
Are you
but-
trying to show him that
I
through
was-
the FaceTime?
Yeah, I don't know if that.
Andy, does that blur
No,
help
that's
you
like
at all?
that looks like a shotgun.
Yeah, but it's like orange. It's an orange. It looks like an orange crossbow.
Yeah.
From what I know about crossbows from using them in Skyrim, they do sort of look like shotgunny.
Maybe these screens will ring a bell for you, Andy. I have
Yeah,
to.
it looked like a sideways. Like yes, maybe yes, that's it.
Yeah. So the game then is
Crossbow?
called Crossbow.
Easy to remember,
Yeah.
unless you're Andy.
So the player protects a band of adventurers from afar by shooting objects that threaten them. So the adventurers enter from the left-hand side of the screen and attempt to cross the screen unharmed. If the player helps them reach the opposite side of the screen safely, the adventurers survive to the next scenario. That's the levels.
Fun.
Oh, I'm looking. Okay, yeah, it does. Yeah, that's the. I'm looking. I just looked it up.
We did
and Crossbow is the game.
That's wild.
I don't have the depth of experience at an arcade that you fellas do from my childhood. So when I would play at an arcade game, it was whatever was there, and it was typically Pac-Man or Galaga. Out of those two, I think I enjoyed Galaga more. Although I think now in my older age, I'm more of a Pac-Man kind of gal.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I-
enjoy the anxiety.
Do you remember if you played at the sit-down one or the stand-up one?
I bet you I played it both. I bet you I did. I don't remember.
My Galaga / Pac-Man experiences are all wrapped up in also picking up food from my parents
Yeah.
from the hitching post back. That used to be back here. They had a sit down Galaga.
And you
Dang.
go there to get garlic bread sometimes?
No, that was coleslaw.
That was coleslaw. We got the
They
coleslaw.
made the best coleslaw apparently. So they would know that instead of making coleslaw, I'd have to go there and walk over there.
Did you? Oh, you didn't take your horse to the hitching post?
Nah, unfortunately. Nay.
In my later years, when we would go to like Dave and Buster's or whatever, when I was in my 20s, for whatever reason, my game was Police Trainer. Do you remember that?
Yes. That was a great game. We'd spend the whole time there. at
I
Police Trainer.
spend all my points on that game. Why am I such a cop lover? I swear to God, I'm not.
Hey,
I think, yeah.
ACAB.
ACAB to me. And I did pretty good at it.
I
It
think
was
it was-
more about like reflexes and aiming, when the gun didn't suck.
Yeah.
And it was all off. But
You could be
Is
a
that
little
just,
competitive too.
yeah,
Not just a shooter game.
basically you just had a gun.
It felt accurate. Like it felt better than the other ones because
Yeah.
and also you're not shooting like
House of the
living
Dead.
targets.
Every time I would play it, I was done in 30 seconds. Well, I was like, well,
Yeah.
there we go.
Yeah.
Just wasted all those points.
That was more
Oh,
of a-
police
yeah.
trainer is that where you're kind of like shooting at targets and
Yeah.
sometimes
Yeah.
a criminal will pop up and
Yes.
shoot the wrong target?
Exactly.
Exactly that.
Oh, okay.
I don't know why. That game just got me.
It was the right pacing was right. Like it didn't rush you. It was all
Yeah.
about skill.
Yeah. It was simple. And then in my later years, my employer bought us an arcade cabinet for the office, and then I started playing Burger Time on the reg. But I think the arcade cabinet is dying because it's probably about 10 years old at this point, and it was making this noise last week when I was in the office. And it was frozen. So I think it died.
You need to put it out of its misery. It's been hanging on too long.
I unplugged it because I thought maybe it's just going to start a fire.
What if you opened up the bottom of the cabinet and there was just a dead Mario brother in there?
Oh my God.
He was moaning for help.
What if?
Luigi, no!
Would he be a tiny, like screen-sized Mario?
Yeah, but he'd be that
Would it
proportion.
smell like a full-size dead Mario.
He'd be an OG Mario Brothers, the arcade game Mario Brothers. So he's square, but he's also big enough. He's the size of he's just a little bigger than Warwick Davis, but square.
So they're the ones that have been running the video game the whole time,
Yeah.
like pixelating everything and at furious speeds.
Somebody in the office is like, do you hear over in this area of the office, which is where the arcade cabinet was? They're like, sounds like somebody's snoring over there. It was the actual. It could have been Mario in there taking a nap.
Maybe it's because nobody has played it in a while and it wants attention.
I try to play a game.
It just has like a computer tower inside, right? Because it's all kinds of games, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a
one of
bootleg
those.
kind of thing.
It's one of those things.
Yeah.
All right, we did that.
Fan's
Topic.
Probably the fan.
Yay us. I don't know why I put this on my list, but Michael Keaton would like to be known by his real name now.
Yeah, Michael Douglas.
But that's confusing.
Well, he was going to do Michael Douglas Keaton in the meantime, I think, or Michael Keaton Douglas, I think is what it was going to be.
Okay, I can handle that.
He only went with Keaton. You know why, right? Because there was a rule against people
Well, yeah, you can't have the same
having
name
the
in the
same
guild.
name in the guild.
Yeah, apparently that's why Emma Stone is Emma Stone.
And not Emily.
Yeah, so there were two. Michael Douglas, the actor, and Mike Douglas was on TV. So he couldn't use any version.
Can't even be Mike
He
Douglas.
should have been Mikey Douglas.
I'd have gone with Mikey.
Guys don't like that back then. That generation didn't like the E sound on the other names. I think they found it emasculating or infantilizing.
Yes.
That's what I meant. But I'm a Freddy, so
You're a
I don't have
Freddy.
that problem.
And I'm an Andy.
And I'm an Amy,
Yeah.
so.
Right.
Your actual name is Aim.
Yep.
We call you Amy as a nickname.
It's my nickname, y'all.
So interesting to me.
You know, somebody spelled my name the other day. We went to get smoothies, and I get my cup back, and I told him my name is Amy. It's AMY. It's one of the easiest names, and I think it's pretty common.
Mhm.
But whatever. I don't know this person's life, but they spelled it AMMIE, and that is just.
Amy.
I've never even seen such a thing in my
Well,
life.
it's like that. It's like how is there a subreddit called Tragedy
Mm,
on
yeah.
Reddit?
Yeah, I know
where
you're
they
talking
have like just really
Bad names.
bougie ways of spelling names.
Oh, just the most
Why is
atrocious.
it called Tragedy?
Because it's
'Cause
spelled. Somebody named their kid,
Somebody named their kid Tragedy?
but it ends
but it's
in
spelled
Yeah.
EIGH.
Oh.
tragedy.
I gotcha. That's kind of cool.
Amy.
Amy. Or
You just sound like a jazz
would
singer
you-
when you do that.
or AIMEE.
That is another normal spelling. That is
But it's-
another.
Yeah.
That is also out in the world. People use that, but I'm just not used to ever having my name misspelled. I know that is my privilege.
Did you raise a snake? Did you raise a snake, Amy?
I threw it into their face.
Now she's got to work at
Well,
Chipotle.
you know, I did walk in there. The woman said, "What can I get you?" I said, "I'd like a mango." And before I could finish Mango Magic, her phone was ringing on the counter behind her. She turned around, went over to it, picked it up, and then told the guy next to her, "Can you finish ringing them up?" I'm like, I didn't even get through my sentence and you ignored me.
Maybe she was waiting for test results on why she can't spell.
Oh, man, I'm complaining about customer service right now.
Yeah. She was like, I can't spell names anymore, doc. And he's like, don't worry, we're going to help you. I'll call you back when the results are in of why you can't spell names anymore.
Amy. I'll never get over it.
How was the Mango Magic? Amy?
Oh, my God, it was so good. I'd get it again in a heartbeat.
Super fruity.
I'll tell them my name is.
They have shakes at
Annie.
Chipotle now.
No. We were at a smoothie place, like one of
Smoothie.
those
Smoothie. They used to
health
Chipotle.
food
The
restaurant.
Tropical
things.
Smoothie Cafe.
Yeah.
Oh.
Because we were going to go over to Spirit Halloween thinking it'd be open already, but it wasn't.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah, which one?
The one over at Northgate.
Oh, I didn't know there were
Listener.
open one there.
It says coming soon, but
It's
I don't know
empty.
what that means. It's September 6th now. I would like to see. I don't know why God, I sound like a Karen today. What is my deal?
It's so hard to find good Halloween related help these days.
It is. I just want to
Are you going to be on the local Facebook page asking people like, "Oh, when's the Spirit Halloween open? I've been waiting."
And
Uh,
I'm going to send emails. I'm going to call.
when we get a Sonic, y'all?
And I don't even want to buy anything necessarily. I just like to look. Anyway.
I think that's it's Spirit Halloween is a confusing business because I've never seen people buy stuff from there.
People just go to browse.
We'll go
Yeah.
to browse.
No, we know the people who buy too much there.
Yeah.
They're in our immediate lives.
We'll be
We've seen
seeing
it.
them and a lot of those types of folks at Whorehound Weekend coming up here next weekend. Oh my
Yeah. I mean, if I were loaded, I'd probably not even loaded. If I had a little bit of Halloween money in the bank, I'd spend it on Halloween things.
Yes.
If that makes any sense at all.
My whole house would be a mess. It would
But
be.
it's kind of Halloween here, 365 for the most
If
part.
I had fuck you money, I'd get those giant skeletons that you can buy at Home Depot or whatever.
You have one nail in the other on a roof.
Those like 12-foot ones.
Yeah, and I'd have them somehow interacting with pillars in the front of my home.
Like stripper poles.
Yes. I'd have my home would have pillars simply for the skeletons to be
Marble
posed
columns?
against. Yeah.
Like on your porch?
Yeah.
Like
Oh,
or
inside
just
too.
Pillars.
I'd
or
have
just
pillars
pillars in
inside.
general?
Yeah, I'd have many pillars. They're definitely going to be pillars if I had fuck you money. So God bless my
live in a pillar.
Is there
I'd live in
going
a
to
pillar.
become a market for clothes made for 12-foot skeletons or however
I bet
tall
it already
they are?
exists on Etsy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Somebody probably makes clothes. They're like, here's the exact dimensions of the giant skeleton, and I'm going to make a dozen outfits and sell them.
Yeah. I bet you make a decent amount of money.
You're probably right. Somebody probably already does it.
Yeah.
Like for every season too. Like, oh, it's Halloween's over. Time to put the Christmas clothes on the skeleton.
Mhm.
He would just look like Jack Skellington at that point, though.
That would be a good idea.
It would be cool.
You could just leave him as Jack Skellington from Halloween through Christmas and really he'd be fine.
Yeah.
Well,
But you'd have to put the Santa beard on him for Christmas.
So like clothes for those skeletons suggest that they're nudists in general, like most of the year.
Yeah. In October, they just
October, they let it all hang out.
They don't put a stitch on. I wonder
like,
about.
It's like, this is my time. I'm gonna just let it all hang out.
Are we going to lose the potency of the image of the skeleton because everyone has giant skeletons draped over their houses?
No, I love it.
It would be neat if like so many people got them that you look around your neighborhood and you're just surrounded by them.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be fucking weird, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Be kind of magical though.
Until they become sentient and take over the neighborhood.
Yeah.
Until somebody
Speaking
makes
of,
them alive.
have you seen Terminator Zero at all on Netflix? The new
I've never
Terminator.
heard. Is it? It's a series?
Yeah, it's anime.
Oh, okay.
It
Is
takes
good?
place in Japan during the lead up to Skynet going live. It's very good. Yeah, like it's one of the better Terminator stories they've done. In a
Oh,
long
so
time.
it's the outbreak of the AI taking over.
But from the perspective of a guy who is working on a separate AI in Japan. So he's developing his AI, but he also knows what's coming, kind of like Sarah Connor. And like, I assume there'll probably be a season 2, but it was really good.
So is he making AI to battle the bad AI?
Kinda, yeah. I mean, like,
No spoilers.
I would recommend just watching it if you're a Terminator fan. Even if you're not a Terminator fan, you could probably go into this and kind of suss out the bigger picture of what's going on, even without having seen Terminator. It's really
And now
good.
we gotta constantly make more AI to battle AI, and then
Mm-hmm.
we
Yeah,
don't know which side we're on anymore.
that's the truth. And that is what's so fresh about that show is it's not John Connor or Sarah
How did-
Connor, the T-800. It's a different viewpoint on all that.
How did skeletons bring you here?
just the thought of them becoming sentient.
Oh, a bunch
'Cause,
of
Part
bunch
of it
Terminators,
is
yeah.
part of what led up to this is, and this is more popular already in Japan. Is this idea of like home bots, like a robotic assistant that also has AI built into it. The whole series Sunny with Rashida Jones is very much about the same thing, and it also takes place in Japan, and it pairs perfectly with Terminator Zero. It actually feels like it might be in the Terminator like universe, except it's got more of a lighthearted kind of comedic bent to it, but you could easily plug it right in with Terminator Zero and it would feel consistent. Very
It's
good.
going to be in Sunny season 2. It's going to be called Cloudy.
Cloudy. I love Sunny. It was so good first season.
I love It's Always Sunny too.
That too.
All right. Dick Cheney is endorsing Kamala Harris. He's
course.
actually gonna like vote for her.
You'd think it would be like, thanks, but no thanks.
I'm kind of like, good, I guess, but you're still a war criminal and a bad person, and you did shoot a friend in the face.
Yeah.
But
Cardinal rule of hunting.
I like that's how his legacy, instead of starting a fake war in Iraq, is that he shot his friend in the face.
Right in the face.
that is his legacy, straight up. But you know what? Would you rather have that be your legacy versus the crimes against humanity?
Yeah, I guess so.
So do you think his people are making sure that's his legacy? They're like, no. We're going to go with you shot your friend in the face because that's better than the other one.
I mean, his friend forgave him, I guess.
I guess.
You know, there's a lot of people that need to forgive him too,
I
right?
think he forced his friend to forgive him at gunpoint.
Probably.
I'd be terrified.
That sounds
of
like
him.
Dick Cheney.
I mean, if he's willing to shoot you once.
Yeah,
But like he's got to be asking forgiveness of a lot of people.
yeah.
He should be. I
You
think.
wonder.
Yeah.
It's good that he's endorsing Kamala because it shows that he still has a brain.
That he's still, he can put his country over his party.
Yeah.
Well, Trump just went after his daughter. I mean, you'd think
I don't feel like
after what happened to Liz Cheney.
he has feelings like that.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think it's more of patriotism,
Pretty-
like Andy said. I think it's
But like
probably
weird patriotism
Yeah,
that
I
causes
think
you
he
to commit
knows.
war
I
crimes.
think he can see the threat of Trump. He's like, damn, if me, a war criminal,
Yeah,
sees that something's bad coming, then I need to do something.
right.
it's terrifying.
That's my read on it too, Andy. I don't feel like it's personal because Cheney doesn't strike me as a guy with feelings.
Well, what do they used to? What is like? "Rrrr."
Yeah.
That would be his impression on Saturday Night Live. Who did him? I don't remember.
Daryl Hammond.
Daryl Hammond.
Yeah.
Rrrr.
Beautifully.
I like to think that that's how he just is like in everyday life.
All right. Just talks like a penguin, basically.
The penguin. Yep.
Yeah. Penguin.
Like he's at the tropical smoothie place, like I want a mango.
Spell his name crazy.
Yeah.
These kids today.
You're talking about Dick Cheney when you say that?
No, we're moving on.
Oh, okay.
And I'm not talking about a school shooting because that's not what I want to talk about.
And it's also like, which one?
Right.
But I want to talk about locally. They just arrested 6 kids for making like threats, like violent threats against the schools.
Oh, yeah, the bomb threats and stuff
Yeah.
they were calling in.
The shooting threats. 6 motherfucking kids did this. Now, I don't know if they know each other or not, but this is something that's been going on in the Cincinnati schools for a while, like last season. Season? Is that what they call it?
School year?
School year?
Whatever.
There were a bunch of schools that would have to close because they got threats and they weren't sure if they were credible. And so they'd have to, you know what I mean?
Well,
What is wrong with these kids?
do you feel like sometimes they just want a day off and they don't have the perspective to understand how serious it is? And they're like, I can get the school closed today. Because I feel
Well, of
like,
course they don't have perspective. I mean, duh.
right.
Because these kids were like 14.
How many of them are dangerous, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Like, you have to treat them all as dangerous, even if it was a kid just like thinking they'd get everybody out of school.
Yeah, and I would hope that there were repercussions after all these kids did these fake bomb
Criminal.
threats.
It's criminal, yeah.
Like, how much can they be punished as juveniles? Like, let's just throw the entire book at them because it's terroristic at this point.
Yeah.
Little do you know with your dumb nonsense kid brain. It's terroristic.
I wonder if they should do that the first day of school now and be like, look, we all like to play a prank every once in a blue moon, but if any of you ever, else is snoring and farting over here, any of you ever were to call in any kind of threat to this school, we will throw the book at you and you'll regret it. And then put up people as examples, you know?
And when they should hold up the book that they're going to throw at them, it's going to be this big, thick encyclopedia thing.
To serve man. It's a
It's gonna
cookbook.
be how to be a better fucking person in society.
I just remember being like, I think it's so different now for a 16 or 15-year-old kid than it was when we were that age. Like, they know better in so many ways where, like, some pranks when we were in school would get out of hand, but it was never, like, on the news.
No.
You know, like, it was never anything of that level. Even though I swear to God, we probably had a bomb threat when we were in school.
Well, we graduated before Columbine.
Right. And well, that's what I'm saying is like,
So-
they probably were like, sure, there's a bomb. The police come out for 20 minutes and then the school's back to normal. You know what I mean? Like, that's the way they would have handled it in our era. I don't feel like they would shut everything down, but now you have to.
I'm not for paddling kids, except these kids.
Yeah, that's a paddling.
That's what I want. I don't know. That just bugs me. It bugs me so much. It's like, what is going on with these parents? What is going on with these kids? Listen, I know life hasn't been easy the last few years for the youngins. I get it. But Jesus, fuck. I still came out of the pandemic with some, I don't know. I'm 44. These kids today, they disappoint me. I do sound like a damn Karen today.
What do you think of them taking kids' phones away now? Like, they're talking about having a zero tolerance policy in schools for phones.
I feel that's okay.
It is okay. I would hope they would put them somewhere in the classroom when they entered. Put your phone somewhere.
Yeah.
Things
a
like what just
lockbox.
happened.
Right. That's what made me think about it.
I want kids to have access to their phones if they want to tell their parents they love them because they're about to die. You know what I mean?
That's real fucking dark.
I know.
Yeah, but
that's the only reason.
I was thinking like where to call 911, you know, whatever
Yes.
it could be, like, because
But I didn't have a phone in high school.
Yeah.
It's a different time though.
Isn't it funny that you can even consider that as a possibility of like, okay, screens are hurting kids. We take the screens away during the day, but then we're also taking away this kind of lifeline to something that none of us grew up with, you know, this idea of constant communication. It's so hard for me to wrap my head around what it would be like to have grown up with a phone in your pocket as far back as you can remember, and then them to be like, you can't have this during the day.
It's like somebody said, give me your beeper.
Yeah. Yeah, we wouldn't miss our beepers.
No.
It's so weird.
I was listening to the Daily where they were talking about, I don't know if you listened to the same thing, where they were talking about the cell phone bans and how different districts are doing it, whatever. But the idea that kids were like orchestrating and planning fights out on their phones all day.
That's what they were doing?
Well, it was one thing that was happening.
Yeah.
And then teachers like, we have less fights now because they can't plan them during the day.
Funny.
They can plan them when they get their
plan
phone.
fist fights?
That shows a sign that kids are really different from our time, because who planned a fight in our time?
I don't know. We had a few
fight
meet
after-
me on the
meet me
at
after
the-
school.
I
Yeah,
know,
at
but
the
it's
flagpole.
But like this, we didn't need a phone to plan it. We
No,
just said, hey,
yeah.
meet me outside.
Yeah, it's easy enough to be like, yeah, when we get out, I'm beating your ass.
That one girl fight I had back in, God, was it in 8th grade at the time? That was planned,
Yeah.
that it was going to happen.
And did he get that? Remember the tension that would build up if you were in one of those
Oh, yeah, it's
situations?
terrible.
Well, how does it work nowadays? Like they text like, "Hey, I'm not available right now," and they said, "Well, let me know what works with you."
Their little
Propose a new
do not
time.
disturb comes
Everybody
up.
pull up their calendars and said, and they book you a time. Does Siri have to remind you?
Yes.
Like Siri,
You got to
put in a
fight.
fight reminder.
I got a fist fight at 3:30 today, and then piano recital.
I mean, I wish the kids would not use their phones during the day, obviously. I think that's better for them. Pay attention, soak up what you can.
Yeah.
School isn't forever. You can handle it. It's not that big a deal. In the rest of your life, you'll be grateful you learned how to do some of that algebra, because that will help you a little bit. I know everybody's like, I'm never going to use algebra. I have
Geometry too.
a little bit.
I've used more geometry in my life, I feel like, than I used anything, and I was terrible at it, and I really paid the price.
Well,
Not studying hard enough.
I don't need to know about triangles and angles and stuff.
I mean, it helps when you have a home and you need to work on it sometimes.
Well, that's true.
It helps.
It's football season. Our boys are back in their outfits this Sunday.
Back in their outfits.
They're back in their outfits.
In their little costumes.
Their football outfits. That just sounds
Yes.
so alien. Like you
Their
just
football
land on
fits.
Earth.
Oh my gosh. They're playing the Patriots. Will Jamar play? Oh my God. We don't know. Will T play? I don't like that. They're both being weird. Anyway, they're not both being weird. T is, I think, injured. But the Bengals.
Supposedly.
The Bengals are our team, in case you didn't know. I don't think we talk about it enough.
Right. American football.
We're going to be insufferable this fall.
Yeah. Because Joe apparently is healthy. We'll see how long that lasts.
Should be fun season.
Yeah, I mean, it's so funny. We've had this week of like hot temperatures. And then just for this weekend, we have this weird little pocket of like cold fall, very fall-like temperatures.
Feels good.
And it's like just in time for football season to kick off.
Are you ready for the football?
It feels planned.
Remember that? Was that Hank Williams Jr.?
I
It
remember.
was for Monday Night Football. We would hear that
Yeah.
constantly as a kid.
Yeah.
Every promo for every Monday Night Football game. All my rowdy friends are coming over tonight.
It's football season. All the Swifties are getting in and excited about the football season.
Yeah. Oh, wow. I wonder what that's going to create as far as like the
It's
change in
already
the
creating
audience.
it.
Yeah.
It's already doing it.
But I mean, once the season's going and the ads are being pumped out in mass into our eyes and our ears, it's going to change probably what sort of ads you see during the football games and the Super Bowl and everything else. It might even change what's happening on the field.
Is it okay if I say that I'm not as excited for football as I have been in the past?
Is it because of Taylor Swift and the Chiefs?
Basically,
Yeah.
but not just that. I just realized that once all that happened, how rigged this the whole organization is.
Well, I feel like the year the Bengals went to the Super Bowl a couple years back, they didn't expect that. We came in and did something they weren't expecting. It's
And
possible
also just,
still.
and also there's just all this contract talk with the Bengals is kind of put me
Yeah.
off.
I know.
I don't pay attention
know-
to that stuff.
I know that they don't owe us anything, and they should get their bag when they can.
Yeah, because they're going to
But
have
at
CTE.
the same time, it's like very frustrating as a fan.
Yeah.
And they're fighting over literally millions and millions and millions of dollars, and it's kind of gross.
Yeah. It's definitely
Especially when
not relatable.
knowing how much money that the owners and NFL have.
Oh, yeah.
Like and I know they have to like work within the cap limits and everything, but it's just money talk on that level is just kind of gross to me.
Yeah. When people are starving to death.
It's not, I guess so. It's not even that, but I guess we're more aware of how,
Wealth is distributed.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
But get your bag, Jamar and T. You don't owe me anything. So if you strike, then do it. It's just the pussyfooting around.
Yeah, it's
know?
like just make the deal already. And yeah, quit being a baby. But you don't owe me anything.
I
And you can
ignore
be a
most
baby
of
if you
that
want to
shit
be.
on purpose.
Like I'm not gonna play. I can't do what he does.
Yeah.
Anyway, speaking of just untold riches, Selena Gomez is a billionaire now. Did you know that?
I
Wow.
didn't know there was so much money in makeup.
Is that
Man,
what it is?
Yeah, she has a beauty brand apparently.
Wow.
I didn't even know that because I
Wow, billionaire.
don't use anything.
You know
But
who else is almost a billionaire? 50 Cent. Curtis Jackson.
good for him. Thank you for telling me his lawful name versus his stage name.
He also just wrote a novel.
Are you gonna read it?
It's called no, probably not, but it's him. He had a ghostwriter work with him, and it's called
Where'd you learn all this?
I watch a lot of Stephen Colbert.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he was just a
It'd be
guest.
funny if like Freddy was like the biggest 50 Cent fan and you didn't even know about it.
I know. I've been married to this man for how long?
I like 50 Cent a lot, but I'm not a fan. I don't know anything about him. I like In the Club like everybody else.
Sure, who doesn't?
Fucking banger, right? I mean, what are you gonna do? Also, he just seems
Okay,
like a
but
good
Amy,
guy.
is she an actual billionaire or same way that Kylie was a billionaire with the inflated numbers?
Truly, I couldn't tell you that, Andy. I haven't seen the books myself, but we're gonna hope the ledgers are clean,
Yeah.
and it makes
It's
sense.
just-
Panama Papers.
It's just it's just so surprising to me. Just like it shows you how there's things that you just don't know about.
Right.
Because I had no idea that makeup was such a rich industry. Because you're only marketing toward basically half of the population, and that seems like a lot of product to push
And it
to
seems like
get to $1 billion.
yeah, everybody has their own brand too. So there's a billion different brands out there, and people are still able to make that kind of money.
What's her brand called?
I don't know.
Well, I was just curious to see if it was something that I knew because when we were kids, we knew White Diamonds.
Yeah,
It was Liz
Elizabeth
Taylor
Yeah.
because she was in all the ads for it and everything.
Yeah.
But it was ubiquitous. Everybody knew them. You know,
Who's
you
watching
knew
ads now?
Calvin Klein. You knew all that stuff.
Yeah.
And now, yeah, it's like Selena Gomez. What? I mean, what is it?
Unless you're into skincare or makeup or whatever, you
Yeah.
wouldn't know.
It's not, the ads aren't targeted toward us anymore.
sure.
So
Yeah. It's
So,
probably
like-
narrow advertising
Although
too.
I am in a
targeting.
window where you would say you need to take care of your skin now that you're in your 40s.
So you should be
need to, like-
getting served.
and I
Selena
do. I
Gomez ads?
try,
Yeah.
but I'm not buying Selena Gomez stuff. Whatever.
And like also, I don't know how much makeup you're supposed to buy. Does it?
It's a pound per
Are
person.
ladies constantly buying foundation and concealer and lipsticks?
You're talking to somebody who hasn't worn makeup in 3-4 years. 3 years.
I don't know, but it just seems like does makeup not last that long or something? 'Cause-
Well, the stuff I had that I was wearing, because pre-pandemic, I would wear makeup to work every day and go into the office. And then the pandemic happened and I just quit. And the stuff that I had started to like separate and look weird. So I had to throw it all away. So yeah, I don't think it lasts forever. Not even,
Cold November Rain.
that's what I was thinking.
Yeah. Cold November Rain, a cosmetic line by Axl Rose.
I feel that he's not going to make $1 billion off of makeup.
That's not what we're looking for from him.
Yeah, he sounds terrible right now. He's destroyed his voice. By the way, if you're curious,
I am.
he's just strangled. He sounds strangled all the time because of those crazy high
Yeah.
notes he used to try to hit all the time.
That and partying hard.
That too,
There's a little bit of
probably.
that. Hey, Freddy and Andy, what's your favorite burger topping?
Oh, really?
You can say multiples, but when you're putting a burger together, and Freddie made these delicious burgers the other day, which is what made me think about it. But they were huge.
They were thick like red squirrel,
They
like
were
diner burgers.
huge.
Yeah.
Because I said to him, "You always make like 2 burgers for me, and I only ever eat one. Can you just make me 1 burger?" And what he did was make one the size of 2.
That's actually exactly right.
So that's like, was that malicious compliance?
It does feel that way. It feels like he deliberately was like, "Fuck you, I'll do what I want."
Here's a challenge burger. Yeah.
Here's the thing: our leftovers always get eaten when I make burgers, though.
True.
That's why I always make
All right.
even numbers. You know, since there's 2 of us.
Give me 2 or 3 where you're like, "I gotta have these on my burger," or "I love having these on my burger."
Oh, American
Well,
cheese, man.
Yeah, I can't fathom eating a burger without cheese.
Well, yeah,
'cause that's
cheese.
just weird to me.
Why don't we just assume cheese? Give me the kind of cheese.
Yeah, the kind of cheese.
Well, it depends on what times the toppings too.
Right.
Yeah.
If I like my favorite burger is a bacon mushroom Swiss burger.
Mhm.
Dear God.
Damn, that's a good burger.
But if I'm going classic, just American cheese and ketchup, onions, mustard.
Mhm.
I don't like lettuce on my burgers
I don't
or
really
tomato
either.
really.
Because it makes everything
Because-
slide.
Yeah, and you need to take a huge bite.
Mhm.
Hmm.
And by the time you're near the end of the burger, everything slid around and the
Yeah.
proportions are way off.
Yeah. I'm kind of with you on that, although I will suffer through it for a tomato on my burger,
Hmm.
even though I put a shit ton of ketchup on it.
I do like a tomato. On my
Having onions, though, I think is good. And I used to not be an onion on a burger person, and now I am.
Depending on the burger too. There's things like I love a pickle and onion on a White Castle slider, but I don't put them on my homemade burgers very often.
No pickles. Pickles, I don't think belong on burgers, and that's just my opinion.
Fair enough.
And I'm not one of those like funky burger people,
Mm-hmm.
you know, that put all this other shit on there. You know, oh look, we put a chicken wing in there.
Or fried
Or-
egg.
What?
Yeah.
Fried
Or we
eggs,
put-
get out of here with that. It's so messy. I hate messy food.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the breakfast burger. Like I said, American cheese is awesome. Bacon is usually pretty good, depending on the burger.
Yeah.
So, like Andy, man, that one you described, that's a great burger. Like any burger with like mushroom gravy on it is usually pretty fucking good.
No, that's too. I like sauteed mushrooms. Like gravy is like a bridge too far.
Oh, you don't like the mushroom gravy?
He
See,
just
I like
wants the
that burger
mushrooms.
with the
Yeah.
mushrooms and the mushroom gravy on it.
Don't
No
buy-
other. If you use mushroom gravy, no other anything on there as far as like condiments, just mushroom gravy.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, that'd be weird. Mushroom gravy and ketchup. That's just gross.
Yeah, that's a gross idea.
Yeah.
But yeah, Swiss cheese, mushroom gravy, or white cheddar is really good with mushroom gravy.
I love American cheese, but I do like to elevate sometimes with some regular cheddar or
Yeah.
pepper jack.
Elevate.
Elevate it. We've been watching a lot of MasterChef. I don't know if I've mentioned that, but I've mentioned it a million times.
Wendy's used to do a burger with like these crispy jalapeno rings. Those are really good.
Oh my god, you know what I miss from
I don't like
Wendy's?
fried shit on my burgers.
You remember the bacon mushroom melt?
Oh my God. Now we're just listing burgers we liked at Wendy's.
Dude, that was
That-
such a killer burger.
Yeah, that had that cheese sauce on it, didn't it?
It was like nacho cheese with
Yeah.
mushrooms in it. Which, you know, it doesn't sound great when you say it, but then you put that together, like the mushrooms and the bacon,
That sounds messy too.
and it was just fucking delicious. One of the
And I
best
wish
burgers.
that we could buy restaurant quality buns in the grocery store, because as good as bun technology has advanced,
Yeah.
and how we are able to purchase better buns besides those like dollar ones you get at Kroger.
Yeah.
You know, those ones that you have at barbecues.
Yep.
There are more bun options, but there's something about restaurant buns that are just so much better.
Oh, well, the bacon mushroom melt, I'll never forget the bun either. It was a Kaiser roll,
Yeah.
and it was fucking good.
Oh.
It had like a dusting of, you know, like, what is that, cornmeal they put? What is it that usually has
it's
on
cornmeal.
Is it cornmeal? And,
Semolina, maybe.
maybe semolina.
But,
Talking about all this
Semolina,
food
she's a
while-
billionaire now.
While the dog is
Oh,
just
that sounds
That's
farted.
why, that's why. Like, I don't care how good of a home chef you are. You're not going to be able to do it better than like a restaurant or a diner.
Yeah, usually.
I don't know. I'm Master Jeff sometimes.
Yeah.
And we call it Master Jeff. Sometimes Gordon Ramsay's like, I'd put that in my restaurant right now.
Yeah. I've had some
They're
really
home
good
chefs.
smash burgers at home, like some that are just as good as a restaurant. But you have to get a really good brioche bun
Oh,
for the smash burger to work out. And you have to really fucking crank that heat up way beyond what you think is safe. And just fucking sear the shit out of it with a cast iron press and a whole lot of salt. And then it's like a restaurant burger.
Yeah, I think I make a pretty good smash burger at home too, but I don't like the mess.
The
Yeah.
mess
They're
sucks.
It's a messy process.
Because you're basically rendering fat at super high temperature,
Mhm.
and all it does is create a ton of smoke.
Yes, the smoke, and
Grease in the air.
the splattering.
Yeah.
yes.
I do them on the grill sometimes, but it's really hard. We have a pellet grill, and it's difficult to get the temp up to where the cast iron is as hot as it is under like direct flame.
Yeah,
Like, I want to get a second grill, like just an old charcoal kettle for this sort of shit.
For burgers.
Yeah, mainly for burgers and steaks. Anything with
Burgers-
super heat, you know?
Burgers on charcoal, I think, are delightful.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
Probably cause cancer or something.
Oh, for sure. I have no doubt. Anything that you like. I mean. So that's like
damn, I'm
what?
hungry now.
I know, right? I'm kind of getting there too. I have some leftover Chinese that I'm going to go to town on. when this is done.
We had fun last night. We had dinner with Amy's mom and we played Jackbox.
Yes, we played some trivia games on Jackbox.
We played Murder Party
Had
and
some Chinese
the
food.
Wheel of Enormous Proportions, which Andy, you didn't like that game, did you? The Wheel of Enormous Proportions because
Because it
Because
stole
I
all his
got
points.
fucked over.
yeah, you got really fucked because it's half trivia, but then it's half gambling.
Which is why my mom loved it.
Yeah,
It's not gambling when you have all these points and somebody just says, "Hey, you have half now."
yeah.
That's not a gamble.
Well, the whole game's a gamble. When you sign up, you
Life's
could
the
lose
gamble.
everything. But I'm learning to appreciate Trivia Murder Party more now.
Mhm.
Like, I know, like, all those complicated game mechanics, when you have like 8 people playing, you don't really pick up on the fact that there's like a really clever game mechanic where every time you go in, you make a sequel to the last game, and he keeps track of how many times you've died. So whether you are the son of your last
You're junior,
character.
then you're the third, you're the fourth, you're the fifth if you
Yeah.
keep playing.
So if you survive
It's
longer,
adorable.
yeah, you have a
Trivia Murder
earlier-
Party.
Yeah,
I don't know what Jackbox pack that is, but just look it up. I'm not.
I think
Google.
it's 3.
Oh, okay.
I think
He thinks.
it's really fun though.
So yeah, that was a nice thing. You got a nice thing that you've done, Andy, that you've interacted with? You don't have
Recently,
to. Yeah.
my aunt was in town recently, and
yeah.
we just did some fun things. Just some fun things.
Some
You
aunt and
don't
nephew
say.
stuff.
Yeah.
Well, okay then.
Did you guys go out for ice cream?
Yeah, every single day.
That sounds lovely. So Andy had some good niece nephew time. Aunt nephew time. Nefiante.
Family time, y'all. And that's what I consider this right here.
Yeah,
Aw.
me too.
Are we
Have we
wrapping
run
this
the
up?
have we run the gamut on topics? Are we on
Yes.
the topics?
Will Amy go to the drive-in? Tune in next time.
I'll let you know.
All
We'll see what
I hope
happens.
to see you.
All right.
All right, bye.
Bye.